Well, we've been invited to the Shire for a bonfire. And when you're invited to the Shire for a bonfire, you have to go. And you bring offerings of cider and ale. Also recommended, your own water canteen. Okay, we've got water and wood gloves because we're going to help put wood on the fire, and we're off. Let's go. What'd you think? I'd forget you? Pulling up directions to the Shire. Do you always have to pull up directions to the Shire? Off to the Shire.
That lives on an unimportant rock ball that revolves about an insignificant star on the outer edges of one of the smaller galaxies. And then all your nerve ends are working. And wherever the attack comes from, you're ready. They liken this to a barrel of water. The water is just sitting there in the barrel. But the minute you make a hole in the barrel, the water immediately is ready to come out of that hole. So in the same way, the mind, when it is in a proper state, is ready to respond in any direction from which the attack may come. So this man is no longer alert in the sense of taut and anxious. See? He's sitting there, like a cat sits there. And the minute anything
We're back in the studio today, and I'm going further on the large painting of Queen Anne's lace. I think I'm getting close to finishing it. So at this stage, I like to go really slow and be really mindful of anything additional that I add to it. There's a few things that I see that I want to do. Namely, I want to add a little texture in a certain cloud in the sky to help orchestrate the eye through the piece in the way that I am imagining, coming up from the left and then up to the cloud, almost like this circular pattern, and kind of allow the eye to dance around the field and back up to the sky and kind of, yeah, mingle around a bit. And I added a lemon yellow butterfly the other day, and I think it really brought the painting together. I'm really tempted to call this painting Lemon Yellow Butterfly, but I probably will opt for something to do with the field. But stay tuned, we'll see on that. So I'm going to set up my palette, and as I'm setting up the palette, I'm going to be looking at the painting. A couple things I wanted to share with you are how I store my brushes. I don't clean them every night because I used to do that, and that took forever. And so I found another way to preserve them overnight so that I could just get right back into painting the next day, and that is to clean them in mineral spirits, and then I wipe them down, and then I dip them in clean mineral spirits, and I store them in foil that I cover and protect it from the air. And so the next day when I come back, I can take off the foil, and I can take off the foil and then just wipe the excess mineral spirits off. And I find that this keeps the brushes really lovely to work with, and this way I really only have to wash them about once a week. And if you're interested, I can make another video about how I wash them and how I make sure that when they dry, the bristles stay conditioned and stay in shape. I like to think of brushes like old friends, and if you treat them well, they'll last you a lifetime. I'm also going to show you how I set up my palette. Depending on what I'm painting on depends how I set up my palette, but often, especially when I'm working on a large painting, I love to lay my colors out, and I love to mix a few baseline mixtures that I know I will use, or at least I will use to modify another color mixture as I get into painting. I call them almost like convenience mixtures, and that's usually like a blue and a few shades of different purples, and I love to start with a few fresh greens, and then when I actually get into the painting, it's a lot easier for me to stay in the moment of what I wish to put on the canvas, and I don't have to stop and make sure I have the precise color. I have a baseline of colors I know I want to include, and then I can easily mix them together with ease, and it saves me a lot of time when I actually start painting. And when I'm preparing my palette, I take a lot of time and I think about what I'm about to do. So I consider it all part of the creative process. The other thing I wanted to share with you is to prevent those mixtures from drying overnight, I will clean my palette and put them on a separate piece of glass, and I'll put a very whisper thin layer of safflower or linseed oil on the glass, and I'll put the piles on, and then I'll close them in my painting box. And this prevents the air from getting to them and drying them out, and I can use them the next day. And I continue to do that process each day I paint, and I find that I'm able to save paint and save time and reuse the mixtures. And I found that has worked really well for me. So let's get into preparing the palette. Thank you for joining me in the studio today. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the finishing touches I'm putting on this painting. I hope you enjoyed the visit to the Shire, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Oh, hello. You might notice I'm dressed as an owl. I'm off to a Halloween soiree. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for being here. Leave me a comment below and tell me what you're dressing up for as Halloween. And if you're not dressing up for Halloween, think of a fun character it might be to play for an afternoon. Maybe something from a novel or one of your favorite movies. Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm off, and I'll see you next week.